What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. Now we talk about the aftermath of the whole debacle, and we can now say controversial release of the footage from All In from AEW last night. By the way, not the conclusion. The conclusion, oh boy, the conclusion will be later on today when Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics releases the figures from what was pulled in last night, because, and this was always going to be the problem, no matter how you look at it, it's a double-edged sword. It's a catch-22 for Tony. Either A, you got shitty numbers and there's literally nothing you can do to break your company out of the despair it's currently in right now as far as its viability is considered, or you got your biggest numbers but it came from a WWE guy. There's really nothing Tony Khan can do as far as getting away from all of these L's. And it continues. It really continues. The hypocrisy, the taking back of words that you said that you were never going to do. I mean, if it's not talking about wrestlers being under contract and you never releasing them and letting their contracts expire unless it was something completely detrimental, it's you furthering going back on your word as of what you said back in 2019 when you said anybody, for the most part, could use whatever they wanted as far as your footage is considered to get across their message. You but you got Botchamania suspended. I don't know if they got their accounts. I can't remember if they got them suspended or if they copyright striked one of their videos. I can't remember. I think it was copyright strike back in like 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I made a video about that at the time too. And you got such an uproar that you had to renege on that strike, because if you didn't get them suspended, you were on the verge of getting their channel taken down. You've done the same thing with AEW botches. But even though with those two circumstances, I still feel you're pieces of crap for going back on your word. At the very least, I can understand. Again, you're tyrants, and again, you guys are hypocrites, but at least there was something at fault, you know? People trying to make you look bad, right? People going out of their way and they're highlighting the negatives of your company. But when you're going around and you're taking down footage and context of people showing the footage that you showed that's no longer on your YouTube channel. You never put it on your YouTube channel. You outright didn't do it because you now recognize it was a dumb dick decision to do, and you just want everything that's relatable to the footage to not be around, and you're copyright striking videos. That's what you're doing. You're copyright striking videos that you're not even using after you said you weren't going to do that. Folks, this company is on its last few legs. It really is. I think it honestly is now on par, or at least trending to start to go on par with TNA when it's all said and done. They're trending towards that direction. They are losing fans like heavy, super heavy. Again, we'll see how the numbers play out tonight. But this is all during the time where their contracts they're in a position to be renewed later on this year. Is TBS okay with this? Is TBS okay with the bad publicity that follows wrestling companies? Is TBS okay with the company that they're now about to fund showing a trend where they're losing viewers? Is that how they do business over there in TBS? We have a certain number in comparison to everybody else's number, because I seen shows canceled at their peak because they were starting to lose numbers in comparison to the other shows on that current channel. Look at WCW for an example. WCW was probably one of the highest ratings getters on Turner Broadcasting, and they got rid of it. And they were not anywhere near close to where their numbers were originally, obviously, but they were still one of the highest rated television shows on that network overall, period, and they still got rid of it. Why would I not believe the same mentality is there right now with TNA, or I keep saying TNA, say for Rudy and Slip, AEW? Huh? It didn't have to be this way. None of this had to be this way. I'm not even specifically talking about the footage, even though that in its own self just kind of writes its own book. You heard, again, Tony Khan can play stupid as much as he wants. We all know he watched Punk's little interview with Ariel Helwani. He probably watched it more times than all of us combined. He ain't fooling anyone. CM Punk literally said everything that was going to be played in that video. In what world did you think it was a smart idea to confirm everything that he said? And then your excuse is that you're trying to pull in numbers. That's what he said. Your excuse is you're doing this in order to promote the Young Bucks and FTR feud, which is inevitably to pull in numbers, right? And you tried so hard to wrap it in the guise of kayfabe. You know, it was almost coming off as pathetic with the whole FTR, you distracted us. But in reality, we know what you wanted to do. It was a ratings ploy, but more importantly, from a priority standpoint, it was to try to get one up on CM Punk. There's no way you would have released that footage if you thought it was going to embarrass you. Hence why you're getting everybody to take down their videos right now, because you're embarrassed by it, even at the expense of you being a hypocrite. But like I said, this goes further back. All of this, none of this had to occur if you were just a harder boss. See, people say that he's a nice guy, but he chooses when to be a nice guy. Was he a nice guy when he released all those talents? Was he a nice guy when he tried to copyright strike people's channels and get them taken down damn near because his videos are being used after he said it was okay to use his footage? Is that what you guys call a nice guy? A nice boss? Or is it that he picks on people that are smaller than him? Because you can probably call him a bully also. Is that the case, Tony? Are you a bully? So I get out of this. Are you a bully, bro? You won't do all that shit to CM Punk until he's gone. You won't talk all that shit until CM Punk is gone. Are you a bully? Okay, so if that's not the case, then again, you pick and choose when to be a good boss or a bad boss or a nice boss or a lame boss or whatever the case may be. We know the game. So if you can turn it off and turn it on, why didn't you turn it on when all of the problems started with AEW as far as the goodwill being taken away from them all the way back in 2022 when Hangman Page cut that infamous promo? Could have nipped it in the bud right there, but you didn't do it. Continued on, festered a little bit more. CM Punk doing what he did when he caught out Hangman Adam Page as far as the receipt is considered. Could have nipped that in the bud also. Obviously, the Hangman stuff could have been nipped first, and then you could have went directly into this, and that probably would have been nipped regardless because the first part was nipped. But there were multiple occasions, you get what I'm saying, where all this didn't have to happen. And to go even further back, or honestly, at any point in time, even as late as probably even last week before the footage was even released, before you put yourselves in this horrible predicament, the wrestling, the show, how entertaining it actually is, you could have easily went out of your way to put on good wrestling. But you focused on a certain demographic, you focused on a certain group, and now you put yourself into a position where there's really no goodwill as far as something to fall back on, you know what I mean? Like when the whole Vince McMahon allegations and stuff was going on within WWE, never mind the fact that they nipped their shit in the bud right away. They had stuff to fall back on as far as preparing themselves for WrestleMania. That all this shit kind of blew over after like 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, we still talked about it. For the most part, though, all the onus went right back on Vince McMahon, and WWE distanced themselves from the situation. Even with all the articles that came out alleging that Ashley Massaro this, or, Stephanie McMahon knew this, or Triple H knew this. They played the game so well, bringing it right back to the company as far as the entertainment value was considered, that they were able to bring back Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania. And I hardly see anyone, if anyone, talking about Stephanie McMahon's allegations as far as being implicated within all the scandals that's going on with Vince McMahon. That was masterful work. They brought it right back to WWE, even with all the allegations, and made it strictly about Cody Rhodes. And now, right now, all the wrestling world can talk about is Cody Rhodes, to the degree that you embarrassingly use his brother in order to go up against a world champion Samoan to kind of siphon off that attention that you were getting from WWE as far as WrestleMania is considered, on top of the other things that you're siphoning off of WWE in order to get attention for yourselves and in order for your company to even draw a regular fucking number. Not good number, a regular fucking number. By that, I mean 800,000. You know, like I said, as far as jumping the shark, I think that's a given. That's absolutely a given when it comes to AEW. There's not really much you can really do to save a company that doesn't want to really save itself. There's not much you can really do for a company that's purposefully going out of their way to put so many barriers on itself, so many things on itself because of its pride. Not only specifically because of its pride, but the pride as far as where it's coming from. You know, like, you could easily go out of your way and you could do more adult-esque content, or at the very least, you could be more story-centric. But your identity for your company, as far as what's currently killing it at right now, is that you're an E-Fed. Your general manager mode on steroids, your universe mode minus the cutscenes. That's where your company is at right now. You download a bunch of CAWs from Community Creations, and you go on exhibition and you wrestle. No substance, no reason, just wrestle. And you feel like that way of conducting business, that way of kind of circumventing the norms of professional wrestling to make yourself seem like you're a trailblazer, because again, narcissism is a mental illness, and by any means necessary, right? It's what's going to actually be your downfall. Your pride is going to be your downfall overall. That right there, whether it's not giving up on the obvious detriment to your company, which is way too much focus on wrestling and not enough on stories and characters. No matter what your sycophants tell you, that happens to be the case. No one has anybody who they can relate to for the most part. Hardly anybody outside of the wrestling company, as far as the fans are considered, have any favorites coming out of AEW. No one can actually pinpoint somebody who they know, who they love, who they can make something. Like, you look at Roman Reigns and you have fucking Reddit pages dedicated to him. You look at Cody Rhodes and you have all this stuff built up for him. Fucking anime arcs and shit like that. You can't get any of that out of AEW because no one gives a shit about AEW. No one. Even your own wrestlers don't give a shit about AEW. They come to you because they know you're an alternative to WWE as far as getting a paycheck. They see the audiences they perform in front of. They know it's abysmal. There's no way they look at the sellouts that WWE do every week and see the audience right there. There's no way they look at that and say to themselves that doesn't look like it's a more competent company, that they got their shit together, that it's more professional. And some of them even cope, like Adam Copeland, for an example, because they left at a time when WWE at that point in time was still being managed by Vince. And now Triple H is in charge. And Triple H, for the most part, thinks like the boys. And he's going to do everything in his power to make things fit as closely and as, I don't want to say, well, maybe not even as closely. He wants to make, because he's actually running it right now. He wants to get it to the point where the company is ran by the boys for the boys. Unlike what Vince was doing at the time. And he wants to do it in the way where the fans can actually enjoy the product at the same time. Not working, but I see what he's trying to do. And within front of all these audiences and seeing the change of the guard and the shift right now currently at the moment, some of these wrestlers, they have to tell themselves that what they did was the correct decision, Tony. They have to force themselves to like what they did. They have to tell themselves, well, at least the money is better working for you, because they can't bear the fact that they left the company at the wrong time, not knowing that this was going to occur. Working for you in front of people who are a glorified flea market audience. You're one step above a bingo hall, bro, as far as the audience is considered. which is nothing wrong with that. NXT has bingo hall audiences also, but they're a developmental brand. We're talking about Dynamite, your flagship brand. See, where I'm getting at is all this stuff building up, coming out of last night's Dynamite, coming to a crescendo, because now you have even AEW fanboys having a hard time to defend them. Whether it's the morale, whether it's the morality, whether it's the overall content in itself, because they know they can go elsewhere to get the exact same content. There's no longer the narrative of AEW is better than WWE in every shape and form. It's hard to defend a company against another company when they're on such a string of L's. 2024, there is not one good thing that has happened with this company so far. Not one. With the exception, actually, you know what? With the exception of Revolution, which came off the back of Sting, which now he's retired. There's not one good thing you can come out of this company with this whole entire year. Straight L after L after L. Their time has come, folks. But you know what? No, I can't even say that. I was going to say I'll give them the opportunity to at least give me some hope. Give me something as far as like, well, okay, at least they're not down that bad when we see the numbers later on today. But like I said, if they were to pull in a high viewership number, I mean, this company is so fucked up. The biggest draw for your company would be a guy who's working for the other company. You put yourselves really in that position for what? For what? You could have easily posted this on Twitter. You could have easily posted this on social media, but you decided to do it on local television, on national television, excuse me. Okay. I mean, we're to the point now where even John Bill can't even accurately fucking defend you guys. Look at what he did last night. Even he can't accurately defend you guys. He's trying his best. I see the people, the AEW faithful, the ones who are so diehard AEW, they're trying their very best. They're working overtime right now trying to defend AEW. They don't know what angle to take because you destroyed every angle. You destroyed every bit of your credibility, Tony. Even your sycophant, lame-ass fans, they don't know how to defend you. You embarrassed them with them attempting to defend you. How do you do that? And I want to know this. The sad part about it is there's no changing. People are like, well, let's just wait and see how everything gets better over a year's time. You see, that works when the mentality was talking about a Vince McMahon, say, in 1997. Vince was above nothing when it came to pushing the barriers if it meant the survival of his company, if you will. Didn't matter what he did. It's not even so much the beating part. Vince McMahon felt like a cornered animal, and he did everything and anything to get out of that corner and to kill the Predator. And to make matters much worse, before he even killed the Predator, he himself became the Predator and he made them prey. The cornered prey made the person who victimized him their victim. That's how much he was willing to change. That's how much he was willing to sacrifice as far as his dignity to make sure that this could be the norm in order to use this to combat against his op. He got shot 9 times and he was still breathing. They never pulled the trigger on him. Whereas for you, Tony, your pride. See, Vince's pride was his company going out of business. Your pride is making sure the thoughts that you feel like it's the betterment for professional wrestling is the norm for professional wrestling. You're more so concerned with making sure your e-thought feds, that your e-thoughts, you're more concerned with that getting over than your actual company. So no, I have no faith in Tony at all, nor should you. But I guess the only way we can at least get a glance at the future is seeing WrestleNomics numbers later on today to at least get a good laugh and see what the fuck is going to happen going forward. So I'll be back later on tonight with the numbers. And you did this to yourself, Tony. Your fans not holding you accountable for anything, they did it to themselves. The wrestlers, I can't even say they did it to themselves because they came to get a paycheck. And I guess for that, you did a good job. Too bad that paycheck is going to stop sooner rather than later. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Deuces, P. Ice.